Hey, thanks for an episode of Vinyl Village Garage, the show where we do just about anything automotive, all what's inside a two-car garage. And this episode, I am really sure you're going to love it. Well, now that you survived that intro, I gotta explain that it was really bad, but it's the best we could come up with. Haven't come with a great name for a title for a steering wheel, something like Everyone Gets a Turn or Good Turn. Anyway, no great title for this one, so we went with it was one that was really bad. So I guess the goal here is I've got a steering wheel, needs restored, got a good deal on it from another guy on the old YouTube. He's doing a car up. I couldn't pass up the deal. It's a steering wheel that I really like, or I guess they really like. But we're gonna put it back in good sorts and see if we get this thing looking good, show ready. I'm gonna put it on one of my cars here, so follow along and hopefully it turns out for the best. Where this episode has to do with what's inside this box here. I acquired this box from another YouTuber. He's actually doing a 69 Firebird build home in his garage too, so kind of watching his progress and happened to see something in the background that caught my eye, and that's what's inside this box here. He's actually working on a car super low mileage, has a lot of great potential. I guess you get a chance, check his channel, Seek and Restore. He's got a couple videos up, just starting to build, so a lot of good things going on there, so check it out. But we'll get back to what's inside here. This is going to be a video on how what's inside here is going to get restored and made to be looking a little nicer is my hope, but I've not tried to do this project yet, so follow along with me here. I got some idea what we're going to do, maybe the technique, but we'll see how it goes. Now let's see, find out what's in the box here. A little close-up of the artwork of the box. Now, of course, I've kept you waiting long enough, so let's have a see. Let's say what's in the box, right? Packaging. All right. Now, what we're looking at actually is a factory 1969 sport wheel for all Pontiacs for the most part, but I have one currently on my Firebird high school car, but my Transmaroado project has the factory 3-spoke plastic wheel that I just don't typically really like, but I saw this on that car. I wasn't sure if he was going to use it or not. We had a little conversation, worked out a deal, so now it's here. One of the things that really caught my eye while watching his video is the fact that the outer ring has no cracks in it. So the metal in the center, I think I can work with and make it look a little better. So the plan is I can show you some of the essential bits here. Of course, my orange Mountain Dew, tape wrapped up, keep it protected while sandblasting. And we're going to put some etch prime on to prevent some corrosion from coming back through. And we'll call it chrome in a cam. Now the finish on that's real close. I'm hoping to match what was factory, because like I said, the factory's not a real like mirror finish or super shiny chrome. It was kind of a brush look almost. I'm going to clear it when it's all done. And the other part that I don't show here is my little spot blaster. I'm going to use that to spot blast the metal here and get it cleaned and prepped for painting. And we'll see how this is going here. We'll get the ring wrapped up so we don't damage it with some tape while sandblasting. And we'll see how it looks after that and make sure this plan's going to work. Now I know they make these steering wheels repop, and they're okay price, a little more than I wanted to spend, but I just kind of prefer the original. And knowing the history of this car, that I thought it'd be a great candidate. See if we can't doctor it up and put it on one of my rides here. I didn't tape the whole rim up all the way around, mostly because I don't want to have to fight with peeling all the tape back off this when I'm done. I kind of want to just, being as a spot blaster that I'm going to be using, I can really kind of focus the area where it's actually hitting the metal, and I won't actually damage the plastic. But I wanted to put some tape here, because I will be still getting kind of close to the edge. I don't want to damage this, because that's one of the things that really turned me on about this steering wheel. It's in really excellent shape. Step is, sandblast is clean. Now my old sandblaster isn't anything super fancy or special. I bought this out of a J.C. Whitney catalog back when I was probably 16 years old, so I've had it for many years. It still works great for projects just like this, but Here's these little siphon speed, throw some sand or whatever brake oil you got in there. I'm going to use it here to spot blast this steering wheel, so check it out. Now, it actually has a little more pitting than I was hoping for, but the metal did come clean. They have to come with maybe a bit of a filler primer, and then maybe have to sand that out a little bit to keep it from looking rough. The goal is to kind of, I guess you say, not super shiny, but it needs to be flat. And there's enough rust on that one spoke. This is the worst of the three that it's a little bit pitted, so I may have to do some kind of filler work or high build primer and then do a little sanding, but I don't think it's beyond repair at this point yet, so we're going to keep plugging away. And side note, I really, really do not like sandblasting. We'll get you in here real close so you can see what I'm looking at. This is the worst of the three spokes, and it's actually got some a little heavier pitting than I anticipated, but the good news is actual chrome plating, you'd actually have to have this metal perfectly smooth or nice and even before you can actually replate it. But since I plan on painting this one, I can use like a plastic filler like Bondo or a high build primer maybe to fill this in, but this one might actually require a little bit of plastic filler. So I wanted to get you up close to see what I'm working with, and we'll keep plugging along. What I plan to use is the Rust-Oleum self-etching primer. Comes in the can here, works pretty good. Coverage is pretty durable. I'm not sure if I would use it on the outside of a car for finish work, but interior pieces, small trim pieces, something that not exposed to a lot of weather, I think this is probably acceptable. So I'm gonna get this thing all coated, let it cure for a while, let it dry. And then once it's dried, I'll go ahead and just do a little bit of filler work on it. That should just about do it. But now you can actually see, sometimes that primer will actually highlight that pitting just a little bit more. So I'm got a little bit of work to do, but I think we're gonna get it. All right, I guess when mixing body filler up here, I like to kind of mix it on cardboard only because it's handy and seems to be a valuable, or basically a big commodity I have plenty of around here to mix it on. So I've heard some reviews on people saying it's a definite no because it absorbs some of the resins, but what's your experience with that? Any trouble with it or having issues with it sanding or not working good when you were done? I guess if you had any problems, let me know in the old comment section. I don't want to steer anybody wrong. If you've had any problems, let me know. But I typically just mix it up and get the color nice and even. I like using a nice straight razor blade for doing small filler work like pinholes and I guess your finished product before putting your final filler primer on. So I'm going to try to use that technique here to fill in the pits on the steering wheel, see if we can't get this doctored up nice. I probably made up a little more than I needed. Like I said, use the old razor blade here to get a nice even coverage and fill in all the little pits. Now this stuff sands super easy, so It's not meant for filling in big craters or dents. It's more or less just kind of a finishing filler. So I think this might be great for this situation. I'll do the same thing now to the other two spokes, and then come back and then do like the areas here where there's a couple little pits and stuff like that. But I figure I'd do the top first, see how else is gonna work. So I'll go ahead and get the other two going here and follow along. It looks like it's ready to sand. It's set up enough here. What I like to start with is about an 80 grit sandpaper. I have this sticky back stuff for my longboards, but I'm going to use it and hand sand most of this out and see if we can get it smoothed up. I'm sure it's going to need probably another pass or two of some more filler to get it where I need it to be or where I want it, hopefully, to make it look good. So check this out and we'll see how this goes. Gonna do it for the first round of sanding here and filler work. Most of the pitting is going away. It's filled in. I'll have to do the outer edge here of the spokes now. It'll be the next part I guess I'll work on. There's little tiny pitting in that edge of it, and then same as up these little sides here. So a little more filler work here, I think, and then we're ready for like I might as well go with a high solids primer and use that, just kind of fill in maybe what little imperfections I can't get with the body filler here. All right, well that's gonna do it for the old 320 hit here. It's actually coming out pretty smooth now. I'm liking the finish. I think the next step here, I'm gonna get it all cleaned up, wiped down, and go ahead and put a coat of a high build primer on it. That way I can fill in what little bits I couldn't get with the filler, and I'm gonna smooth up all the edges. So when it comes, like I said again, the paint work, that's the easy part. It's the prep work underneath, and then of course with the magic of television, cameras, whatever you want to call it, what you see here, what took me 5 minutes on the video, I got about 45 minutes wrapped up into this thing so far. So still definitely worth it. I'm gonna get this thing to go, but the next step is a little coat of primer here. Yeah, that looks like a nice GTO behind me. Don't worry about the overspray on that car. It's actually an older product I did about 15 years ago, and it's about due for another go-round. It doesn't look too bad. We call it 50 footers, or it's probably closer to maybe a 20 footer, but it's going on the next project and be coming up here pretty soon, or hopefully soon, but still got to finish the old school black car first. But that will be coming up, so don't be freaking out about a little bit of overspray or something on that paint. Trust me, it needs a lot of love to get it back up to nice status. Get you a little closer here. Now at this point, the old spokes have a nice defined shape again, nice lines. It's smooth. All three spokes are looking about the same now, so no more pitting or anything like that. So next step is I'm going to let it cure overnight here so it gets good and dry. And I might do a little wet sanding on it, try to get it as slick as possible, but looking pretty good. Where we left off at, we primed it. I've let it cure here overnight, so this is actually the next day. So TV magic, you had about 10 seconds there of rest possibly, but I guess the question becomes now, I've got some high solids primer on it. I'm gonna start sanding this out just lightly with some 320 to take off any kind of orange peel, out of the texture out of it. I guess the question sometimes becomes, when do you stop sanding? A guide coat in the situation would probably work. You mist like a different color paint, typically black, and then you'll sand it till all the black spots disappear. Now, I don't plan on doing it on this particular job, but that might be a good recommendation if you've never done a lot of sanding, or like I said, how do you judge when to stop? In this case, I'll just kind of keep an eye on it and we'll hope for the best. So follow along. Well, get you in here. There's no more pitting. The edge lines are pretty defined here. I'm thinking we're about ready to hit with a little bit lighter sandpaper and then put a sealer coat on it. I'm gonna try to get this as smooth as possible. We plan to paint this a gloss black first. That seems to work really good underneath the chrome paint for everything that I could learn and see. It leaves a smooth finish and it's a great base for getting more depth, a little more of the, I guess say, chrome in the can effect to make it work a little more like chrome. Now I think here first, got everything stand out pretty nice. I'm gonna actually redo the masking tape here. This is mostly put on for protection from overspray and accidentally nicking it with the sandpaper. But I'm kind of getting to the finishing steps here, so I need to do a nice clean and tight job on the paints, or tape, so I don't get paint where it doesn't belong. So I'm gonna work on peeling all this off and then get it all wrapped up properly and sealed up for the actual finish coats and I guess priming. It's like the best Christmas present ever. Anyway, I didn't record the masking of the steering wheel. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. You put the tape where you don't want the paint. Just I guess a little detail would be, they use electrical tape on the tight radiuses and weird shapes to help stretch it to get around that steering wheel spoke so it holds up tight. Again, I'm just going to try and make this thing look a little better. I'm ready to put the sealer coat on. As long as that looks nice and lays out nice and even, we'll go ahead with the gloss black and then continue to the next step. Sanding's done, sealer primer on. I'm ready to put some old gloss black on it here. That's going to be a good base underneath the chrome in a can. I hope that's going to work out nice for me. At least everything that I saw, that seems to get the best results. So I'm going to lay a coat on here. Light coat's the key, keep that in mind, and we'll see how this goes. Now, does not look too bad actually, glossy black, but that's not the finish we're going for here. So let that dry and flash off a little bit, hit maybe with one more coat of black, and then we're ready to go on to the next step. I got the black spray paint on, it's kind of flashed off, it's, you know, it's dry to a touch. I'm gonna start putting a couple of mist coats of this, I guess you call it metallic finish Rust-Oleum on there and see what happens. I guess you could say I'm hopeful this is going to come out nice, but we're going to find out. You know, from there, it doesn't look too bad. Up close, not sold yet. Let that flash off and hit with one more light coat. Again, it's in the old camera or TV magic world. From there, it really probably doesn't look too bad. Up close, you give it probably like a 6 or 7. but I guess if you put in consideration how pitted and rusted it was before, it actually looks really good. Again, we'll let it sit here. We'll let that flash off. I'll hit it one more coat and see how it comes out. So while that's curing, I've got this little trim piece that goes in behind the whole steering wheel. As you can see, it doesn't look that great either. This is mostly, I think, crud and buildup. This is a piece of plastic, so it's not like it's rusting, but yeah, I guess you'd say it needs a little chrome polish. I got some metal polish. I'm gonna try it on this and see if we can bring this back to life too. Well, got a little bit of this compound on here working it. It's actually, that was the worst part as you're rubbing it. It's taking the majority of it off because, you know, it's not rust from sitting. It's just how this car sat in the, I guess, a damp or corrosive environment for everything rotting. Maybe it was just a reaction, but for the most part, it's actually starting to come out and rub all the junk out of it. So I guess this might recover. So if you look at this now, I would say that's going to work pretty nice. It has a couple little tiny pits in it, but I don't think it's worth doing much more than just leaving that polish back up and looking pretty good. So that piece is done. We'll check that and see what's ready for another coat then. Well, again, I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it probably like a 6 or a 7. Don't love it, but I don't hate it either. I think it's going to work pretty good for what I'm going to use it for. Still thinking this is the better way to go to buy, as opposed to buying a repop steering wheel. I mean, it has that chrome effect. It's not supposed to be mirrored finish, so I think it meets that requirement, but I just don't know how durable, how long it's going to last. But again, huge improvement over the rust pit. So I'll let this cure and I'll get all the tape pulled off it, and maybe it look just a little bit better, but I guess we'll see. Now, just an update here. Pulled all that masking tape off this thing. I'll tell you, I'm going to change my last statement to maybe not really liking it to almost loving it now. Again, it looks similar to the factory finish. I've taken a steering wheel that's probably destined for the scrapyard and made it to where it actually will hold its own and look pretty good going down the road. Again, it's not perfect, but I'll tell you what, it looks a lot better than the factory steering wheel I currently have in the car that I plan on replacing here. Well, that being said, chrome in the can does work, so I guess if you're a wheelie wanting to know how it came out pretty good. I know the jokes don't get any better as it goes on, but the idea was, can I restore the steering wheel at home on a budget? I probably got $30 in materials, and some of it was I bought some other brands of this chrome in the can, and not pleased with the results. This one was definitely the best for what I had to work with. I think there's some other products out there in the market, but this is stuff you can pick up like at your Lowe's or Home Depot or probably AutoZone and stuff. But I wanted to give this a shot. It worked. Big secret is in the prep work. Smooth finish. Once that's all smooth and good with your undercoating, paint it with a gloss black paint, and then put your chrome coat on, a few thin coats, and maybe last one a little bit heavier, and let it cure. The next step is I'm going to put it on the car here. You see if I can get some shots before I end up this episode. But again, thanks for watching. Thanks for checking us out. Any questions, concerns, like I said, I'll put some products up on there. Or let's just say you've actually done some of this before and had some really great results. Send me some pictures. I like to see this. And then again, durability, I guess we're about to find out. I don't drive this car a whole lot, but I hope it holds up for a while and get a few car shows out of it. But until then, I'm going to enjoy how it looks. Love the new steering wheel. And again, I guess thanks for following along. Just here in case you're wondering what this steering wheel is for, I'll give you a quick little peek, and then I'll give you a shot of the interior here. This is the finished product. I will say it came out even better than originally thought it was going to. So absolutely love the steering wheel. Great addition to the car. Finishing touches really brings it together. So thanks again, Seek and Restore. Again, check out his channel and his build. This car obviously has super low mileage. There's not a single crack on the outer rim is why it was worth the effort to try to bring this steering wheel back to life. I'll tell you, almost looks factory. So super pleased with the results. So again, you could probably get the same results at home if you tried. I'll show a picture of all the components that I used to make this happen. And then added bonus here. If anybody out there needs a dark blue steering wheel for a 60s, 70s Pontiac, horn buttons, everything intact, and works great. Paint's a little worn on it, but still shows and looks nice, works well. And make me a good enough offer. I may even throw in the really awesome cool box too. Thanks again for watching.